Okay.
So, how are you doing, Russ?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Great. Can you all hear me okay?
Okay.
You may want to stand sideways a little bit so then they can see you a little bit too, and I can
Okay.
see you a little bit. It makes it more personal, right?
Good morning.
Plus, you may spot things in terms of how Russ answers, but you can direct your attention here in terms of what we're doing, okay? It just means that it's a little bit more engaging. There you go.
Okay.
So, tell me, Russ, what's going on? I mean, I have no idea, apart from Gary, I had a brief 2-minute conversation with before we began.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's going on with any of these people, so I need to have a normal conversation like I'd have with any other client to find out what's happening, right?
Yes.
So what is happening?
Okay, thanks, Igor. For 6 months or so, I've had trouble getting my leg out of the car and back into the car, and I have a doctor who's actually my friend. He's,
Right.
And he finally said it's got to be a slow-healing groin injury, just like the cowboy defensive back has and will not heal.
Right.
I have a lower back injury that comes. It's chronic. It's not bothering right today, but I was almost crushed in an accident when
Right.
I was a laborer, actually, and also in my upper back. Back to 1958, I remember when that started. It comes and it goes, but right now and then, as we started, I hadn't thought about this, but I approached you with a question. When I'm in the courtroom, where I am quite a bit, and even here, I worry about my bladder because
Right.
it's possibly just age, but that'd be something that I would want
Okay.
to see whether that could be improved.
Sure.
So that's a rundown of my aches and pains.
So let's take the bladder to one side, because that's
Yes,
really
okay,
not
sure.
germane to what we're doing here.
Right.
We can absolutely work with it, but that's not the main purpose we're here.
Right.
So in terms of experience right now, so there's 3 main areas. You have sort of the leg groin injury.
Right.
You have something going on the lower back,
Right.
and something up on your shoulder. Is that correct?
Right. Back over here.
Very good. So how do you experience those now? Are any of them uncomfortable right now? Are they okay? How are they going?
The groin thing manifests itself on the inside of my thighs, and last night even when I sleep and I
Yeah.
try to roll over, I can even get a hip pain
Right,
to where
right.
I think someone else would say, gee, I might ought to think about a hip replacement. So
Right.
it's not a whole lot of fun.
Can you experience it right now?
I can feel it here, but
Okay, good,
if I
that's
get
fine.
up on the stage, I'll feel it.
Okay. And what about on the lower back?
No problem there at the moment.
And your shoulders?
No problem at the moment.
Excellent, very good. And what is it you'd like to see as a result of all the work we're doing today?
If I can get rid of the pain in my groin area and the hips, that would be wonderful.
Excellent.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have a seat again.
Yes, sir.
For now. This is just a kind of introduction. And as you're sitting down, one thing, just as a general comment, it's an aside that I would definitely make the client here is, you realize that actually you may as well keep this because I'm going to have a little quick chat with you as well. You realize that the sensation you're having in your leg, your groin area, it has a function, right?
Yes.
You've possibly injured yourself in some way, and your body's telling you that there are certain ways of moving that you don't want to be doing or engaging in because it's going to prevent your body from healing properly, right?
Right.
So it has a purpose. Therefore, removing it entirely or removing it without leaving something in its place to remind you of keeping yourself healthy, that's not necessarily a good thing either, right?
So they say, but I don't really care about what the true medical problem is. I'll live with that.
Perfect. Now, do you see, a lot of clients will have that because when they're in pain, they just want it gone, right? And that's exactly why the pain is still there.
Right.
That's exactly why the pain is still there. And I understand why you're saying that. I really do. I really understand why you're saying that, because it's really not a nice thing to be walking around with that kind of sensation, right?
That's correct.
It makes the smallest thing difficult. Coming upstairs, sitting down for breakfast, going to bed at night, getting up in the morning, going to the toilet in between, right? Every single action, you have to be more cautious, more careful, slower. I can understand that it's really a unpleasant way to be living your day-to-day life, right?
Right.
Which is why you'd rather have it just disappear.
That's true.
So aside from all the reasons you have for it to disappear, what are all the reasons for it not to?
The reasons for it not to? Oh, I've considered, well, maybe I've got bone cancer or some such thing. I don't think so, but if I
Well,
do, okay, so be it.
Your doctor's already checked those things out, right? You've got a medical referral right here.
I have a medical referral. Right.
So would it be fair to say your doctor's checked all the possibilities out?
He doesn't think there's any chance in the world that that's it.
Right.
That's right.
So if I understood you correctly, the diagnosis from the doctor, not from me,
Right.
was that the most likely thing is you strained a muscle and it requires time to heal. It's just taking extra time to do that.
It's his opinion it's a groin injury
Right.
of some sort.
So to the extent that you keep pushing that particular muscle, its ability to heal will be slowed down or retarded or even prevented. Will that be fair?
That's fair. That's fair.
So here's something for you to think about. And just consider this now. You can have anything you want in life, provided you pay attention. And if you don't pay attention, you'll pay with pain. It is a simple signal to remind you to pay attention. And to the extent that you haven't, I am not surprised that you have. Now, I have a feeling that something is already beginning to shift inside as you make that realization. Because to the extent that you pay attention and make a genuine commitment to yourself to pay attention, to take it a little easier for a while, will there be any reason left for that pain?
Less.
Much less, right?
Much less.
You can teach your body to move in slightly different ways that will accommodate the healing of that particular part of the body, right?
Right.
And in doing so, aren't you paying attention?
Paying attention in that way.
How is the groin doing now?
That's not bothering me at the moment.
It's not bothering you at the moment, is it?
No.
And was it a moment ago?
It was sensitive.
It was sensitive. So you're telling me it's already changing.
I would say it might be changing. I think it's changing.
So it's already changing. But you don't quite know how it's changed, do you?
No.
There it is, right?
Right.
The only thing you do know is that you did one thing differently in the last 5 minutes you weren't doing before, right?
That's right.
And what's that?
Paying attention,
That's right.
focusing upon it so I can alleviate it.
That's right. You're learning to focus on yourself in a new way, in a very important way. In the past, you were focusing on the sensation because you wanted to get rid of it. And your body increased the sensation because there's no way it wanted you to ignore it. But now that you're paying attention, now that the message is being heard, there's really no need for it anymore, is there?
No need.
Now, I realize from time to time, the sensation may return. It may return as just a sensation or as a mild experience of pain. And you know why that would happen, don't you?
Yes.
To get your attention. To remind you that what you've just engaged in is something you should probably not be doing for a little while, right?
Right.
So you're maybe lying in bed at night. You feel like turning one way, and suddenly you have a sensation. Nothing unpleasant, but something that reminds you best keep lying the way you are.
Right.
Or maybe turning a different way.
Right.
And you know what I mean by that, don't you?
I do.
As you're thinking of all these things, check back in with your growing and notice how it feels different. How is that?
Feeling comfortable.
It's feeling comfortable already. How do you do that?
By telling him I'm paying attention.
That's right. That's right. And it feels good to pay attention, doesn't it?
It feels good to have a different approach.
That's right. It feels a lot better than trying to ignore it, right?
I can see the insight.
And it's not just the insight that's important. It's the experience that counts, isn't it?
The experience.
I would like for you to try a little experiment for me. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
What I'm going to ask you to do is I would like for you to experiment with organizing your body in a way that you don't normally do it. And here's what I mean by that. I'm going to ask you to get up in a moment's time. However, I want you to experiment with getting up in a different way, paying attention to the sensations in your groin area, so that you get up in as comfortable way as possible. If you begin to feel a sensation, change your approach. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Now, it may take you a few minutes initially to work the approach out. And I'll happily help coach you along with some ideas if you would want that.
Sure.
But if it's okay with you right now, I would like for you to start being curious about how your unconscious mind can show you other ways of moving your body so that you are paying attention in the right way again. Is that okay with you guys?
Fine.
With you?
That is fine, sir.
So go ahead and give that a go now. Notice, for example, do you notice the speed with which you were getting up there?
Yes.
So before being in a hurry, right now it's an exploration stage.
Right.
What I'd like you to do is just, first of all, get in touch with all the different parts of your body you need to be aware of in order to move. For example, you have feet, don't you?
Yes.
Now, you could have your feet out in front of you. You may experiment with that. Getting up that way might seem a little more tricky right now, right?
Right.
You can have your feet right underneath your chair. Something interesting happened there, didn't it? Then you can have your feet somewhere in between. So just shuffle your feet around until your groin feels the most comfortable. And let me know when you're there. With the anticipation that you'll be getting up at some point, of course.
Okay.
There you go. And you have knees, do you not?
I do.
They could turn to the left, both of them. They could turn to the right. And as you pay attention to slowly moving from the left and right repeatedly, ask yourself the question, where would they be most comfortable if I was to put enough weight on them to be able to lift myself up? Where might you end up?
Probably to the right.
I would agree. I can see it. Now, of course, your knees can't lift your whole body.
No.
You need to shift your balance to allow the whole process to occur. That involves moving your torso, doesn't it?
Yes.
Now, you can move your torso forwards and backwards. You can move it side to side. I'd like for you to very gently go side to side, forwards and backwards, whilst getting those knees into the position you had a moment ago, until you find a place. And feel free to use your hand, by the way, as well, as support. Until you find a way where getting up is just a natural step forwards from where you were already at. So just do that now. Go ahead, just slowly. How was getting up like that?
That was better, much better.
Much better than usual?
I concentrated on not putting pressure on that pain area, and I got up without the pain.
Exactly. So your body,
Paid attention to it.
your body is teaching you how to move to allow it to heal, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And all you have to do is,
Pay attention.
are you?
Paying good attention.
That's right. Now I realize initially it will require a little more effort because you're moving things more slowly. You're learning about yourself in a slightly different way. But then you have lots of signals that will remind you of that, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So is it okay with you to spend maybe just a day exploring those different things,
I'd be glad to, sure.
in exchange for which you no longer need to have the painful sensation you used to? Wouldn't that be a fair trade?
Fair trade.
Feel good?
Feel good.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Russ.
Thank you, Igor.
I'll take that back from you. And remember, slowly sit down in the same way.